back to our Friday edition of News Geelong as we turn to the action-packed world of Geelong sport and our own flying hawk, Nathan Curry. Good evening, Nathan.
Thanks very much, Rollo. Well, I don't think too many people expected the Cats to get off to the start they've had, and we caught up with coach Chris Scott to ask him a few questions about their upcoming match with Sydney tomorrow night. Now, Scotty, do you expect to have a tougher contest against the Swans?
I will always expect a tough contest against Sydney. I mean, 111 tackles at Subiaco, the biggest ground in the competition, and then going to the smallest ground in the competition. It's safe to say there's going to be some congestion. There's going to be more stoppages than we've had this year. And you know, it's going to be really hard in close for the contested ball, but that if anything, that's good for us. We pride ourselves on that, and we need to be tested, and Sydney at the SCG gives you a pretty good test.
Have you simulated the size of the SCG at training? Yeah,
we can do that. How much relevance it has. One thing we can't do is make Skilled Stadium very wide, and the SCG is very round. The fact that a lot of our boys haven't played the SCG for a long time could be an issue. There are going to be a few excuses for us this week if we play poorly, if we want to take them. The boys are committed to not using any of those things as an excuse. We'll prepare as best we can and make sure we're ready to come out and give it our best.
Jude Bolton's 19 tackles surely must come into your thinking.
I haven't thought of it that way. If a player's really intent on getting in first to tackle, it's hard to stop him. We've got to make sure we're first into the ball. You know, that's our priority. Our tackling in the first half against Port was poor, and we'll work on that during the week. Certainly our intent after quarter time was much better. How we can stop Jude Bolton tackling 19 times is a bit of a mystery, but you know, we all respect the way he plays, and he typifies the way the rest of the Sydney midfield go about it as well. So we've got to go some way to at least nullifying that.
Will Cam Mooney play a bit in the back line again? Yeah,
there's every possibility. Yeah, we haven't decided that yet, but he can play in defence. I've got no doubt about that. Certainly he showed that through the pre-season in our training. I understand it's not AFL pressure, but even more importantly, he can help out in the ruck as well. He did that for little parts of the game last week. It's something we'll look to do in the future.
Will Harry Taylor take on Adam Goodes given his form?
Arguably he's in better form as a midfielder than he is as a forward. He's certainly spending a bit of time in there, and that's what, you know, he's a little similar to Matthew Pablish in that respect. He's an exceptional forward, but he's also an exceptional midfielder, and you wouldn't have thought that the same opponent is going to be on him in both those situations. So Harry's, you know, one of our best defenders, and I'm certain he'll spend time on Adam forward. We need to put a bit more thought into what we do with Goodes in the midfield.
Are Andrew Mackie and David Wojcinski available this week?
Yes. Yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah, he's already trained well enough for us to be very confident that he'll be okay to play.
Wojo?
Yeah, the same. Yeah, yep.
So you got some decisions to make?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we've got every inexperienced player that we've brought in this year has performed at least up to our expectations. Some have exceeded those expectations. And we've got some experienced players in really good form. So how we fit them all in this week is going to be a challenge, but it's a good problem to have.
Does the VFL playing the IAS at the G cloud your thinking on tomorrow night?
No, I think it helps us. The other option was to have a bye, so the fact that there is a game on is a really positive thing. A lot of our younger players will, a lot of our younger VFL players will take the chance to have a rest. But we've got a few guys coming back, young guy Jesse Stringer, Steve Motlop needs a little bit more football. A few of our ruckmen at VFL level need a bit more footy, so no, the fact that the AIS game on is a good thing.
Thanks for your time, Chris, and good luck to you and your boys tomorrow night against the Swans. Now, next up on News Geelong Sport, we caught up with the Geelong Falcons after they lost to the Western Jets last weekend. Obviously, it wasn't the result you wanted on the weekend, but were there any positives to take out of the game?
It was obviously pretty testing conditions. Highgate was pretty exposed to the weather, and the wind was pretty horrific, and the rain was as well. But you can't blame the conditions on how we played. We got led to the ball. They were better at the contested possessions. Our forward structure is starting to work a little bit better now. Really working well to the big guys, and they're really presenting well up the ground. So the back six is pretty firm as well, and they're looking really strong together.
What sort of things are you looking to improve on this week?
Number one this week at training has probably just been our contested ball and turnovers as well. Last week we're really beaten in the stoppages, and that's just something we want to improve on this week.
Well, you're back at that ground on Saturday. Do you think that'll give you an advantage because you've already played there?
I think it'll probably give more of a mental advantage. I think a lot of the boys probably got a little bit put off by the trip and the conditions, but now going there for the second time, we know what we can expect. And hopefully that does hopefully give us a bit of a mental edge on how we prepared last week.
Before we let you go, you're the high performance coach. What sort of role does that involve?
Yeah, so this time of year in season, we're basically looking after the hydration and nutrition of all the players. We're tracking their workloads every week, so we monitor how much training they're doing, how much sport they're doing outside of our program. And basically just doing warm-ups and cool-downs. There's no massive running component as we've finished our pre-season period.
Thanks for your time. Hopefully you can get a better result on the weekend. Well, that's it for this week in sport. I'll be back on next Wednesday night, but until then, it's back to you, Rollo.
Thank you, Nathan. Another six-pointer. And now for the latest weather information with the lovely sparkling Lani Salathiel. Good evening, Lani.
Thank you, Graham. And good evening to all our viewers. Autumn leaves are beginning to fall around Geelong as our local weather continues to be cool and damp. Let's look at the expected forecast for the next 6 days. For tomorrow, Saturday will be a partly cloudy day with some isolated showers on the way until late afternoon, with a top temperature expected to be 20. Sunday will see patchy drizzle early in the morning, followed by a mostly sunny day and expected top of 22. To start off the new week, Monday will be a partly cloudy day with some isolated showers later on in the day and a top of 23. For Tuesday, will also be a partly cloudy day with some isolated showers during the morning and a top of 23. For Wednesday, we're looking at a cloudy day with some isolated showers again, warming up just a tad at top of 24. And Thursday will be a partly cloudy day with some isolated showers during the morning, a top of 22. And today was a cloudy day with some isolated showers and a top of 19. And that's our weather outlook for tonight. Have a pleasant evening and a pleasant weekend. And it's back to you, Graham.
Thank you for being with us on News Geelong. All the very best in the new Geelong Greyhound Racing Club at the launch of the magnificent new facilities tonight at the Beckley Centre. And remember, take your time and smell the flowers. From all the team at News Geelong, have a pleasant evening, a safe weekend and a very good night.